This is a Bergen Film Club podcast.
Like an old movie removed from the frame, I am floating and looking for someone to blame. Won't you project me on the walls of your heart? I'm waiting for the real thing to start.
Hello, and welcome to The Real Thing. I'm your host, Joe Lawrence, and today I am joined with maybe a co-host special feature
Oh,
from Caroline Tranberg.
hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, no problem. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I handed in my master thesis,
Yay.
so that is done.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was, oh my god, it felt so weird handing it in, just sitting in my bedroom
Yeah.
on a Sunday night, 11 o'clock,
Mhm.
just hitting
Boop.
send.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. That's the year of my life.
Yeah. When I submitted mine, I was in a hotel in Sweden.
Oh,
And it was like 4 p.m. and I just realized that I hadn't submitted it, and then I just submitted it, and then that was it.
yeah. It's
So
just, yeah.
unimpressive.
It's like
It's like, boop.
this huge thing that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You work so much on it, and then you just sit in a room like, now it's done.
Now
That-
what?
Yeah, now what?
Yeah. Let's introduce the podcast.
Yes.
So this podcast is an extension of Bergen Film Club. Bergen Film Club is an independent cinema in Bergen, Norway. The film club's main goal is giving a voice to those who deserve it, revealing insights into unknown cultures, and showing awesome movies. And in this podcast, I talk about those films that are included in the film's extensive program, past, present, and future. And today, we're talking about Midsommar.
Yes.
At last. I've been saying that I've been going to do it for about 3 episodes now. And then I took a break and I forgot, and then, but we're doing it for real.
Yes.
I've been excited to do this.
I'm so excited you invited me here for Midsommar. It's, I can't wait.
I think it's going to be a lot of agreeing with each other.
Probably.
I think that we have pretty much the exact same opinion of this movie, but
Yeah,
that's still nice.
it's still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we begin, we always start with recommendations on the podcast.
Yes.
So you can feel free to chime in with any recommendations.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can start off. I have 2 podcast recommendations. Do you know who Brittany Broski is?
Oh, do I know?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I do.
She has just launched a new podcast, and the second one just came out this week. It's called The Broski Report with Brittany Broski,
Mm-hmm.
and it's great. It's kind of I think she's doing kind of like a take on 1950s newscasting, but it's just basically her own deep thoughts.
Love it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to this yet. I listened to her previous podcast with Sarah Shower.
Yeah. Violating community guidelines.
Yeah, which was
is- yeah.
really good. I was so sad when it ended,
Yeah, me too.
but I'm so excited to start listening to this one.
Yeah, it's as great as you would expect it to be.
Oh,
I
I
think she's very funny.
expect
and
no less from her.
I love her because she's so smart.
Yeah,
Like, she's really intelligent, and I think that's also what makes her like stupid humor
yeah,
just as good.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's only the second episode now, but I think she's gonna go as long as she can with it, and yeah, check that out. It's great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I will. Yeah.
And this is a daring second podcast recommendation, but because I've only listened to 1 episode.
Oh.
But it's called The Purrcast,
Interesting.
and it is a podcast about cats, and the hosts talking about their own cats, and then they interview people who have cats.
That sounds adorable.
Yes, it's hosted by Stephen Ray Morris, who's the audio engineer on my favorite podcast, My Favorite Murder.
Mhm.
And yep, it's as cute as you'd imagine, I guess.
Yeah.
The
Sounds
jingle
cute.
is like sickeningly cute. But I listened to it and I was like wincing, but I was like, this is also very sweet.
Interesting. Oh, I'm definitely gonna take it. I love cats.
Yeah.
I
it's-
want a cat so bad.
Yeah, there's like, I think the one I listened to was like 409 the episode, so they've been going for a really long time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So
So you have
much
a lot of cat. The one that they had, the one that I listened to was this guy called like Cat Illuminati or something. Is this TikTok user who basically just walks around his neighborhood and
Okay.
meets cats on the street
Aw.
and films them, and then people recognize him and bring their cats out from the house. And
That was adorable.
yeah, I'm not a TikTok user, but you are
Shame.
a TikTok user, I believe.
Yes. I
So-
love TikTok.
So there you go, Cat Illuminati. The
I'm-
TikTok
I'm
account, and also
Following that straight away.
and also the Percast, which is on Exactly Right Media. Which I think every podcast that I recommend is from that podcast network.
Good network.
It is great.
We should get on it.
We should get on it. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, still not watching any TV.
No,
No.
you gotta get into anime, dude. I've been watching a lot of anime the
Mm-hmm.
last year, and Chainsaw Man
Okay.
is so good. It's currently just one season out, but it is fantastic. The style is fantastic, and I believe the director, I think that's what you call it when it's an anime. He's really into films. So in the intro song to Chainsaw Man, you can see like references from different films and such, which is kind of fun. But it's basically just a show about demons and
Okay.
hunting demons, and yeah, we follow the main character, who is Seiji. I believe it's a lot of characters that get a lot of time, but he sadly dies with his little demon chainsaw dog.
Okay.
So the chainsaw dog enters his heart, and he is now has like a chainsaw thing out of his chest and can turn into a chainsaw devil or demon.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just very fun, and the characters are amazing, all of them, and I've been watching that. So
Yeah, okay. It sounds cool, and I think a lot of anime sound cool to me, but I'm not connecting.
you should give it a try.
Yeah, I know.
It's Chainsaw Man is like 12 episodes, and each episode is like 20 minutes.
Okay, I can do that.
And it is very like you get so engaged.
Mhm.
Even Bendik like Chainsaw Man.
Hmm.
It's gory enough for him, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe I will like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about anime that I don't, because I love, like, I watch, and I'm a big fan of a lot of cartoons, but not like the Pokemon anime is probably my extent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lot of good anime out there.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was the one that I liked last year? Arcane? Was it called?
The one on Netflix?
The l-
Yeah, I believe so. I didn't see it, but I think it's
Oh.
Arcane.
That was very good.
Oh, well,
You should watch that.
I
And I will
should.
watch Chainsaw Man.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay, and then lastly, I had a movie recommendation. Last night I watched Barbarian
Mm-hmm.
for the second time, and it was great. Just as
Yeah.
good as the first time. It's just such a fun movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like that is a very like rewatchable movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time around, you have no clue what is going on.
Yeah, big time.
It's so not confusing, but just like what is happening.
It's like so many twists and turns, and
Yeah, I love that about it. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
it's kind of hard to talk about it because I feel like I don't want to give it away, because
Yeah,
I feel like there are twists, and the twists are great
yeah,
and kind of unexpected narrative.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried my best to dodge everything about it on social
Mhm.
media before I watched it, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy I did. So I
Yes.
went in not knowing anything, and that just made the whole experience like so much fun. So
Yeah.
if you don't know anything about it, watch
the
it
best,
and
yeah.
just don't read anything.
Yeah, I was just waiting for Justin Long to show up.
Yeah,
That's the only thing that I already knew.
I didn't know he was gonna be there either.
Really?
It's just suddenly he was there, and it's like, okay, what is going on now?
Yeah. No, I love it. I think it's a great movie. It's
Yeah.
on Disney Plus. Very
Yeah.
accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that's it. That's some decent recommendations. Unless you have anything that you want to throw out.
No, I think that's some good recommendations.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you had Chainsaw Man.
I did. I'm
Okay.
very happy about that. I think I explained it like horribly, but just trust me, it's good.
No, yeah. Convinced me, I think.
There's some cute characters.
Okay.
You will like Aki. He's handsome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's dive into today's episode. What we're going
Yes.
to talk about. We are going to talk about
19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. The 2019 movie Midsommar.
Yes.
Yeah. So today, like I said, we are talking about the 2019 Ari Aster written and directed movie Midsommar. Are you ready to be read to, Carolina?
I am.
I've never done this with someone in the room before.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So this is a folk horror film. I think we did an episode on folk horror, I believe. That was episode 4, I think, when we did The Craft. Talked about folk horror and kind of that it had its roots in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
And then that apparently a film couldn't be folk horror if it wasn't British. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Huh. That's the Brits for you.
Yes, oh yeah. Let's not get into that. So the basic plot of the film is that it follows Danny, played by Florence Pugh, and Christian, Jack Rayner, who are playing this extremely dysfunctional couple, and following basically they are maybe seemingly going to break up, and then Florence Pugh's character Danny goes through a terrible, very bad thing happens to her, you could say.
Very.
Yep. And then she's invited with Christian's group of friends to Sweden to celebrate a Midsummer festival because him and another character are wanting to study the group and their traditions, and the fourth or fifth character, Will Poulter, wants to have sex with a Swedish woman. That's why he is there. And they go, and it's weird, and then they basically find themselves trapped in this spiderweb cult that they cannot escape from. Basically, everything's been set up for their arrival. But by the inclusion of Danny, the story goes slightly differently to what the Swedish cult imagined in the first place. So Ari Aster is an American film director and screenwriter who says that he doesn't necessarily consider himself a horror filmmaker.
Interesting.
He makes horrible films for sure. So he said, quote, "I'd been resisting writing a horror film for a very long time, mostly because it just wasn't the genre that had been exciting me, which is silly because everything I do is really dark and bleak, and horror is like the one genre where that is not only a virtue, it's necessary. You have two camps. One is horror films that are essentially roller coaster rides that are just there to give people a series of jolts and then let them go home and get on with their life. Then there are others that are maybe more existential in nature and are really trying to play with serious fears and engaging with them on a serious level. Those are the ones I'm interested in watching, and those are the films I'm interested in making." End quote.
Cool.
Because I think that I agree that he's not necessarily making, so he's made Hereditary, which was 2018.
Yeah.
And most recently, Beau's Afraid, which came out this year. Hereditary is scary.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
It is very, scary. Yeah.
I remember the promotion that A24 did is that they had like a screening where they hooked people up to like heart monitors.
Oh, that is so cool.
And then they tracked their BPM through the movie, and then they could see like which act was the scariest, and in sort of the final act, everyone's heart rate was going like crazy fast.
So intense. Yeah.
But that is scary. But I'd say Midsommar and Beau is Afraid is more like, it's not necessarily scary. You're just watching it going like, oh my god, I wish this wasn't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I think that's the best description I can give it.
But at the same time, I haven't seen Boys Afraid yet. But during Midsommar, I was like, my heart was racing a lot. It's like it's very intense. It's scary in an intense way, and just like
it's like not horror that I think like the mainstream is used to.
Yeah.
What horror has been for so long. I think maybe that's why a lot of people find him so refreshing, is because he is really making a different kind of horror movie.
Yeah, he is.
In the last 5 years, he's made 3 movies.
Yeah.
Or big releases.
Yeah, it's impressive that like Hereditary, which was his like first big movie, is so popular. It's like good for you. You did something right.
So a little about the production. It was a co-production between the US and Sweden, and the film was actually initially pitched to Aster as a straightforward slasher film set amongst Swedish cultists. While elements of the original concept remain in the final product, the film's plot centers on a deteriorating relationship inspired by a difficult breakup which Aster experienced himself.
Oh. Huh, interesting.
How do you feel about that?
Damn, son, you need therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm curious if Arias is like, is he Danny or is he Christian?
Yeah, definitely it would be.
Which side is he on here?
Yeah, we'll talk about it a bit later, but I know that at least I was like, I felt seen and heard by Danny.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So though the majority of Midsommar takes place in Sweden, it wasn't filmed there at all. Rather, it was filmed on the outskirts of Budapest in Hungary. Reportedly, Swedish law would have restricted the film crews from shooting more than 8 hours a day. And Ari Aster said in multiple interviews that he decided to avoid shooting the movie in Sweden due to financial constraints. Quote, "I realized that we couldn't afford to make this movie in Sweden, so we decided to shoot in Hungary," he said during an interview with Vulture. "We were scouting for a long time to find the right field, and I was also still desperately working on a shot list. I got through 3/4 of the shot list, and we found a village that worked perfectly for the movie."
Just think it's so funny, like, oh no, we couldn't be in Sweden because we could only work 8 hours a day.
Yeah, and I think it's like, yeah, because then they can't do like night shoots.
Oh, you can't do night shoots at all? Oh.
Or like if they had done, say, some in the morning, then that means that their working day would be like 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
So, you damn Scandinavians and you caring about your population.
Oh, how dare we?
Yeah. And also that, I guess that's kind of true, that the film just takes place in one field.
Yeah. It's, it's kind of similar to The Village, where it's just like we're mainly at one place.
I watched that last week.
You did?
And I hated it.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh my God. Yeah, it sucked.
I disagree.
Okay, I thought Bryce Dallas Howard was good.
Yeah.
But she's good in everything.
I mean,
Slay. Yeah. Slay.
Yeah.
Blind, Slay. But it was like weird that they never like, you just kind of are like, oh, she's blind. It's never like, she's blind. And Joaquin Phoenix's character was super weird. And I don't know. It was like the reveal was so lame.
I call the reveal. I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but then like, not once in my head did I not think that that was happening in present day. Because then it was like, they're in a park and this real, and I was like, oh, okay, I thought it, what? I don't know. I didn't like it.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, it's fair
But
enough.
as I famously say, the good thing about my opinion is that it is completely objective.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it is a bad movie.
Oh my God. Well, it's still, the two kind of remind me of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I
Sorry,
wanted.
didn't mean to
from that.
poo-poo on your point.
How dare you?
I'm silencing women on the podcast.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. So before we get into the meat, I thought we could talk a little bit about A24.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. we're going to be talking about film bros soon, and I think there's just never been a film company that's been so obsessed over by the film bros than A24.
No. And it's kind of sad because it started like it's this really nice kind of independent thing, and then it's just you're up with the worst now.
Yeah. So A24 is an American independent entertainment company that specializes in film and now TV, as well as film distribution, and it's based in Manhattan, NYC. So just a few of the movies that they have come out with: The Spectacular Now, Ex Machina, Room, Moonlight, Lady Bird, 8th Grade, Uncut Gems, Minari, Everything Ever All at Once, Pearl.
Oh.
So A24 is also maybe as famous for anything else as it is for its like autistic horror films.
Yeah.
I would say, known for being psychologically disturbing and mind-bending. They're considered to be a pioneer in modern horror and often referred to as elevated horror, which we can talk about soon because I think that's funny. Most of these films share a similar approach, including ambiguity, bleak atmosphere, disrupted formulas, outbursts of violence, psychological dilemmas, and realistic character drama, including, Hereditary, The Lighthouse, Midsommar, The Witch, and X.
Yeah.
To name a few. I think the great thing about them is that, even though they've sort of exploded into wide popularity with shows like Euphoria.
Yeah.
Never seen it, but I know that a lot of people have and love it, I think.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Euphoria? I really like season 1.
Okay.
And then season 2 is like, it's okay. But it's...
But I heard that the writer-director of that show is a bit fishy.
Oh, Sam Levine or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Sam Levinson.
Yeah. It seems like it's a lot of like... Yeah, he's trying to push his actors in a way that I don't agree with. Having them naked a lot when it's not necessary at all. Especially the women. Yeah. And especially Sydney Sweeney, who kind of looks like his mom. Just putting that out there.
Hello.
Yeah.
But I guess we can just start from that, like mommy issues.
Yeah.
Mommy issues and Ari Aster. He seems to be I mean, we only have 3 films to kind of pick from for him. But he also made the thing with the Johnsons or something. It's like a short movie he made.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. I heard it's quite intense.
Yeah, but that's also about a kind of difficult parent relationship.
It's an interesting relationship.
Yeah, but at least 2 of his films, Hereditary and Beau is Afraid, which is kind of exemplified in Beau is Afraid, is that he is sort of, obviously, I think I read a quote that said that like he finds making films therapeutic and his writing is therapeutic for him. But he's clearly exercising some sort of like deep-seated mother issues through these movies, especially in Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, you can sort of see it in Hereditary as well. It's just, there's definitely some mommy issues going around there. Yeah. But I mean, if he finds filmmaking therapeutic, good for him. Keep on doing that. But therapy is also an option.
Yeah, and he can afford it now.
He can. He could after Hereditary, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, because Hereditary was also picked up by like larger distributors than A24, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're here to talk about Midsommar, not these other movies. What do you like about Midsommar? You can talk about the plot, whatever you want. What do you like?
It's so much about Midsommar that I like. It's it starts off quite intensely.
Speak on it. What happens?
Yes. So Danny is excluded from her family suicide. Yeah. Which is interesting sentence to say, but but yeah. So Danny's parents are killed by her sister and her sister kills herself, which is quite intense. She probably wasn't really well before this happened.
Probably.
Especially with her relationship with Christian, who has clearly been like not a good relationship for a while.
Yeah, he's pretty not the best at dealing with her emotions. Or not dealing with her emotions, just not being like available.
Yeah.
Seemingly.
And there's a scene where he sits in a bar with all his buddies and they're like, oh, you wanted to end this relationship a year ago. So it seems like this relationship has been like on the downhill for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's saying like he can't break up with her because something that happened maybe a year ago that like it's adding to her injury of life.
Yeah. And then suddenly like her whole family dies very tragically.
Yep.
And then he kind of has to be there for her. And they might not reconnect, but he's still a bit more available for her while she's grieving. And then he takes her to Sweden with all of his friends.
Ooh.
Which sounds really nice. It's a beautiful place. That's what I find really cool about the film. It's so bright and beautiful, and all the people, all the Swedish, are so happy.
Yeah.
And but you still know, like, oh, there's something weird going on here under all these pretty colors and smiling faces, and that quickly becomes apparent that there's something fucked up going on here. Yeah.
That was like one of the big sort of unique selling points of the film, I think, is that they were saying that like how often is a horror film done in the day? You know, it's usually like the day is the respite, day is safety in horror films, and this kind of took that and said you're never safe.
Yeah, because that's like the nice thing when you watch a horror movie. It's like it's very intense at night, and then it's daytime, and you're like, oh my god, thank God, I can relax a little bit now. It's like I can breathe again. But here they just no safety nets. We're gonna be weird no matter what. Yeah. So
they arrive in the cult or the collective. I think they're Haga.
Yeah.
Horga. But Ari Aster said that he doesn't see them as a cult.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. Are they a cult or are they just...
I can read you a quote from Ari Aster himself.
Yeah.
Describing it.
Yeah.
He said, quote, "No, I don't see them as a cult. They might be. But I never call them a cult. For me, they are a community and they are a family. I wanted them to exist as a place with a history, very clear laws and rules and traditions. I wanted them to feel very rich and very lived in. At the same time, this is a fairy tale and they really want exactly what Dani needs, following the loss of her own family. For better or for worse, this is a wish fulfillment fantasy. This is a spoiler, but we begin as Dani loses a family and we end as she gains one. So for better or for worse, they are there to provide exactly what she is lacking and what she needs in true fairy tale fashion." End quote.
Yeah, because they have cult-like tendencies.
Sure.
Because they do heavily, like, manipulate her in a way by twisting a little bit of what is going on in their perception of reality with the mushroom drinks. I think it's mushroom. Yeah,
they're like basically microdosing or macrodosing them the whole time that they're there.
Yeah, all the time. So they have like cult-like tendencies, but I still saw them more as like as a family who's just a bit twisted, a little bit. A
little bit of inbreeding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Old people choosing when they die.
Yeah, by jumping off a cliff.
Yes.
That is an image I will never get out of my head. That scene with the old man who jumps off the cliff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't die straight away, so they take like a huge hammer thing and just whacks his head. That is traumatizing. That is scary.
Yeah.
That is scary. That is horror.
It's nasty. But just you see it the second that, because seemingly his partner, old lady, she does a lovely like graceful fall, but he sort of hops off.
Yeah.
And does not
a moment of hesitation maybe, and then
Yeah.
it's like, sorry.
Yeah. But I get what he says about feeling lived in, because you, like, this is a thing that they do every year, and
Yeah.
um, like their tradition feels very large, and they're
Mhm.
getting like an insight into that. And each character is sort of destroyed by their own. So basically, the four men that she's with,
Yeah.
her boyfriend, the PhD guy, and Will Poulter.
Yeah, Mark
So that's three.
and Pella.
Yeah, but he's Swedish. He's cool.
He's a nice guy, TM.
Yeah. But I think I kind of thought that was fun that all the male characters are sort of destroyed by what they are seeking
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
It's like Christian, the boyfriend's desire to be kind of a part or weed his way into it,
Mhm.
and then the PhD guy's wanting to know more
Yeah.
and sneaking into the hidden library and finding out, and then Will Poulter's character wanting to have sex with someone.
Yeah.
He gets led away and they all die in numerous ways, but we can talk about Christian's death later, I think.
Yes, that is.
Or we can talk about how we feel about Christian's character, because I think this is one thing that I was so interested to hear about, because there's Midsommar 2019, and then
Mhm.
there's also Midsommar, the director's cut.
Yeah.
I have not seen the director's cut, but basically the end of the movie is
Mhm.
with Dani being appointed the new May Queen.
Mhm.
She has this whole kind of transcendental experience,
Yeah.
and Christian, the boyfriend, is put into a bear suit
Yes.
whilst paralyzed.
Yeah. Or she chooses him to be in the
Yeah.
because she has the choice between
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's an old villager
Yeah.
and her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she chooses her boyfriend
To be burnt alive
in a bear suit.
in a bear suit.
Yes.
But apparently, some people from just watching Midsommar alone, not the
Mhm.
director's cut, felt like Christian didn't deserve it.
I disagree.
Yeah. My experience of watching the film the first time, I saw it in the cinema with two of my friends, Kane and
Mhm.
Dean. And when that whole thing was happening and the
Mhm.
music was swelling and she goes from looking distraught to smiling, I
Yeah.
was smiling. I had the biggest smile on my face. My friends were like looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know. I was so overcome with joy in that moment.
Yeah,
was
it's
like-
one of those good for her.
Very
Moments,
much
yeah.
good for her. And, you know, a lot of people have had shitty boyfriends
Yeah.
in one way or another. And I think I felt like a way of exercising my own demon in a way through watching this film. But apparently
Yeah.
people didn't think he deserved it. So what is different about the director's cut?
So the director's cut isn't a lot longer than the original. I
Okay.
think it's like 10 or 15 minutes extra.
Hmm.
Which is like, why didn't he just keep it in the original cut? I don't know.
Okay.
But it's mainly like a fight between Danny and Christian that is happening. And Christian is like clearly gaslighting her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when people properly realize, like, oh, he is a shitty boyfriend because he's gaslighting her. But to me, that was kind of obvious from the start that he wasn't a good guy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like the main difference, and people just realizing or seeing they have to be shown that he is a bad guy. They haven't really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why people feel like, oh, okay, I get it now after the director's cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not need convincing.
Me neither.
No. Yeah. Beginning of the film, I was like, get rid of him.
It's like, out.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
please die a gruesome death.
You don't need to tell me that men suck.
No.
I know.
Yeah. it's obvious.
Yes. So I have another quote from Aster pertaining to Christian being the villain of the movie. He said, quote, "If anything, I want people to be able to watch the film from two perspectives, and I want his perspective to be harder to access. We've all been in either position. We've all been in a relationship where we desperately want to be closer to a person and they are less invested than we are. And I assume most people have been in a position of wanting out of a relationship, not feeling it, but not wanting to hurt the other person, so you stay longer than you should because you don't want to go through the mess." End quote.
Yeah, that is just a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
And I get not wanting to leave a relationship when your girlfriend's family dies.
Yeah.
But he should have left like a year ago if that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And
You have to be real.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he is the villain of this film.
Mhm.
Like in a sense where he don't want to understand her almost and her feelings.
Yeah. He's exasperated by everything that she's feeling.
Yeah, and he also have like shitty friends who doesn't help with with this. They kind of let him just be miserable, and instead of like, hey, maybe you should talk to her, they're like, yeah, she's a bitch. You should leave straight away and just don't answer the phone anymore.
Because they're fully waiting for a boys' trip. To Sweden, and then he invites her to come.
Yeah.
And all of them feel too awkward to say no.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a perspective of the toxic masculinity and that type of friend group as well. And
wish I had friends like that. Sometimes I wish that I had like high school bully friendship group.
Why?
I think I'm like an anthropological study. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what the thought process is. Because it's kind of hard to come by in Norway. I feel like a lot of men are unfortunately seemingly quite well adjusted. Or no.
I met a couple of... nothing is going on behind those eyes.
Yeah. Just the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the gym, just the fact that they themselves think that they are a lot woker or feminists, and they're not at all. It's a lot of those guys here in Norway.
Yeah. I love that you see a lot of these guys who are like really priding themselves on like doing the bare minimum. And they're like, I'm so like,
I did that.
Yeah. I painted my nails. I did that.
Oh my god. Yeah. I wore a ring.
Yeah, like
look.
Wearing ugly chunky jewelry and being like, I've just defeated the like gender binary.
Yes. 100%.
But I'm still straight. Oh my god.
Oh, could never touch a man.
Yeah. That's gross.
Ew.
I didn't mean that. Yeah. I will wear nail polish, but I will not support the gay agenda. That's that is the vibe. They are just doing it to appeal to women.
Yeah.
I think
that's also a bit of like Mark Wolpolter's character. He's like, women can be free and have sex
with me.
Yeah. It's like, do whatever you want and have sex with whoever you want, as long as it's me.
Yeah.
Let me be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I'll support you.
Well, okay. I suppose while we're on the topic of well, I feel maybe film bro can be a non-gendered word.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can apply to anyone with a certain attitude.
Yeah.
I think for me, if I had to define a film bro, it is someone who kind of makes movies their personality in an annoying way.
Yes.
Or mainly that they love Fight Club and they love, and then they're like, don't talk about it.
Yeah, no.
Blank, like, star, space, star is my favorite movie.
Yeah.
I hate that. Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director.
Are we describing Bendick?
Yeah. I was just thinking, I was like, wait
a minute.
I know this guy. But yeah, but like those films, they're kind of like good films.
Yeah.
But it's the same films.
Yeah.
Drive.
Yeah.
Drive. He is so me for real. Ryan Gosling and Drive. How would you describe a film, bro, before we move on?
I think it's just, those kind of annoying guys, mostly. Oh, and girls. Just keeping it.
Annoying people.
That, it's just, have you seen Pulp Fiction? Haven't you seen Pulp Fiction? It's like the best film ever. And it's like, I can't say it's a decent film. I fell asleep, but
Oh, I watched it 4 weeks ago for
yeah,
the first time.
yeah.
So
It's like it's fine
it
to
was
like
fun.
Pulp Fiction, but don't make it your entire personality.
Yeah,
I think that is like, yeah,
that is the film bro agenda, is making a movie like their identity, and it's very much what we talked about the last time that you were on the podcast. The whole the Patrick Bateman of it all, of
yeah,
making American Psycho kind of someone you look up to
yes,
in a way.
yeah. It's like my feelings with film bros is like if I call you a film bro, I mean it in a mean way.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
I think maybe a good way is that they're like smug about it, but
yeah,
also quite gatekeepy
yeah,
about it as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, it's really strange because they always like look at these like ginormous films like American Psycho
Mm-hmm.
and Pulp Fiction and it's like these are some of the most seen films ever.
Yeah.
But they still gatekeep them in a way where it's like, oh no, you didn't understand it
Yeah.
the way I did, which is
Well, the first
weird.
time that I watched Mulholland Drive, and my friends were being so like aloof about it that I was too afraid to say that I didn't like it.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I didn't get it.
Oh, that is
Sorry. It was confusing, and I wasn't following well enough.
Yeah, it's just then it's not a good film.
Yeah.
And
Then it's like you're a bad person. You're like,
yeah,
oh, you're beneath them because you don't like get the
yeah,
movie.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should say that about like Puss in Boots. You didn't get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots was great.
It was great.
Yeah.
I still love the first one. I think you haven't seen the first one.
It's so long ago that I can't remember.
It's so good.
Yeah, but the second one, masterpiece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Anyway.
Yeah. But the film bros flocked
Yeah.
to A24.
Yeah.
Those films are very good.
Yeah.
But also, it's made by an independent company. Lovely. It's
Mhm.
giving voice to very many minorities, and that's lovely and great. But in the same way, these films are also still very popular,
Yeah.
and they act in a way that's like, it's masterpiece. It's A24 is like saving cinema, and like sure it is, but also they still have this sort of like gatekeepy approach of I feel Ex Machina is probably an example of when people like really go hard
Yeah.
on gatekeeping. But in that same vein of the film bros kind of loving something until it reaches this point that it is so popular that they don't love it anymore.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. And the most recent victim of that will come to Midsommar, because that's another big example. But
Mhm.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
A24's biggest movie
Mm.
ever. I thought it was incredible. I've seen it 3 times now.
Oh.
And sobbed embarrassingly in front of my friends. I saw it with my who did I see it with? ...
Oh.
Someone. The first time. I don't remember who I went with, but I just cried
Yeah.
like so much
Yeah.
every time, and in front of my friends, but I don't care because it's brilliant. But when that film then suddenly became a contender for all of these amazing awards,
Mhm.
then people didn't like it anymore.
Yeah, and it has a tendency to happen with people or films where there are minorities.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once is so overhyped, it's not good anymore, but Pulp Fiction is great still.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but it's often happens with movies with minorities
Mm-hmm.
or female director, because they just say it's overhyped because it's a woman who made it, when
Yeah.
in reality it's a good film.
Yeah, because ultimately, Everything Everywhere All at Once is Everything Everywhere All at Once
Yeah.
is a, Asian lead,
Mhm.
predominantly speaking in Mandarin the whole movie, and
Yeah.
the heart of the story is a non-accepting mother
Mhm.
learning to accept her queer daughter,
Yeah.
which is then like that's crazy that was able to reach such
Yeah,
because that's such a unique, not a unique story, but like a felt story that doesn't really get a lot of attention.
no, and especially not Oscar nominations.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for sure.
so it's sad that these movies kind of they get big
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly get hated.
Yeah.
From the people who made it big.
Yeah.
It's it shouldn't be like that. It's like, yeah, because in the beginning all I saw was, oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once is such an amazing film, and then suddenly all the comments were like, it's overhyped, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened?
Yeah. No, that even in our own BFK circle,
Oh,
I also felt that energy for everything
yeah.
all at once. Throwing everyone under the bus right now, but that's what kind of got me thinking about it in a way.
Yeah.
Sort of the attitude coming back about that.
Mm-hmm.
But Midsommar is another example of one of those films which really surprised me. I don't know if you know about this about me, but I love Facebook groups. I'm probably one of the few Gen Z people hard using Facebook
Probably.
because I love the groups. I would not be on Facebook. I have no interest in like engaging with any of my friends or seeing what anyone is doing, but I'm in like, do you remember that like a group where we all pretend to be ants?
I'm in that.
I was in that. And I'm in like so many different like science meme groups.
Wonderful.
And then I was like, hey, I like film.
Yeah.
I should join some film groups, and I'm in a A24 film group.
Oh.
And over time, people just progressively posted more and more about Midsommar,
Mm-hmm.
and posting these huge posts about like, this is cinema, this is the best film ever made, and then all the comments being sort of like, oh, since it's getting so much praise now, it's overrated. And now it's sort of like a joke in the group where people post like, hey, I don't know if you've heard of this film, but Midsommar came in 2019. It's this really unique film, but yeah, like it's people think it's completely overrated now. Like that's been like the shift in the perspective of it now.
Yeah. No, that is like annoying mostly
Yeah.
because it's they kind of overshadow how great the film is.
Yeah.
By just boiling it down to overrated.
Yep.
So can we not have a film that is loved by a lot of people without calling it overrated?
Yeah. And overhyped, like the word
Yeah.
you've used is just the word that they use to talk shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so dumb because it's like, oh no, a film got a lot of attention.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, and that there's also been a lot of kind of then saying that Florence Pugh is overrated. She's probably one of, I think she's like the standout actress
She is fantastic.
in everything that she's in.
Yeah.
Bad script, she takes it and runs with it and does amazing.
Yeah.
Zach Braff movie or whatever it is wasn't good, but she was amazing.
She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people saying that she's overrated now because people backtracking retroactively saying that they don't like Midsommar because she's done a Marvel movie.
Oh my god.
And that's been a thing that she was interviewed recently,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that like people in her like indie circle
Mm-hmm.
were saying that like, oh, now she's done a Marvel movie, she's not gonna come back, and but she was just like, you know, I can do what I want.
Yeah.
And she was like, if anything, she said that her main thought process was when she got that role as Russian spy number 2 in Black Widow or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that more people would then look her up and see her previous catalogue of films.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was her perspective on it.
Yeah, that is a great way of doing it because
Yeah.
if people enjoy her in Black Widow, I didn't see it. I heard it was awful.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if people enjoyed her in that film, then suddenly they come across like Lady Macbeth,
Mm-hmm.
who she was incredible in.
Yep.
And all her other films. So yeah, I agree with her being on that, and I think that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah. And she is very cool.
She is.
Yeah, and she is great in everything that she's in. Like
Yeah, it's
some of the films might be mid, but she is always
yeah.
on fire.
Yeah, it's I don't the second she comes on screen, I
Yeah.
don't care because it's like I only look at her and
Yeah.
she's doing so great.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, no,
Yeah.
she is probably one of the greatest actresses of our time.
I think
I
so.
think yeah.
Yeah.
Her pouting is so great.
That sad face that she does.
Oh, it's
Fantastic.
incredible.
Yeah. I thought that in the film she did a really good job of showing. I feel like I've never seen like a real panic attack
Yes.
in a film before.
Yeah.
It's usually like the camera spinning and someone collapsing to the ground and everything's like they play the sound effect that people play after a bomb goes off. It's like the ringing and everything's muted.
Yeah.
But there's the scene of her just walking away,
Mm-hmm.
like crying.
Same girly.
Yeah, same.
I can relate.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to show stuff like that in film, and I think they did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she, and when she just, after she discovered that Christian, her boyfriend, was sleeping with a underage girl.
Yeah.
And she just walks away and then sits in like this circle with all these women and just breathe. That is such an amazing scene.
Yeah.
It is very intense, but
Yeah.
it's she.
That's like the girls in the bathroom at 2 a.m.
Yes.
That's what they're doing in there.
Yeah, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's like me and my bestie.
Yeah.
When a small inconvenience happening in our life, we just sit on the floor like, yeah.
I think I'm gonna post that on the Instagram. That scene.
Yes,
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But it's just weird that like an actress or an actor or anyone doing sort of something other than if they're known for indie.
Mm-hmm.
But like Dooney,
Yeah.
that's not an indie film.
No.
And everyone is fine with her being in that.
We'll see when it comes out, I guess.
I mean, she's gonna be good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I also thought it was kind of fun, if we're just going to briefly talk about Dune Part 2, is that in the book, Austin Butler's character is described as being really handsome.
Oh.
And Denis Villeneuve was like, bald.
No. Yeah.
White,
I mean, you can be
bald.
handsome and bald, just saying.
Yeah, apparently I've exposed my hatred for being bald, but it's just a deep-seated fear that I have of being bald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
So
is
you-
my therapy on the podcast. Yeah, I'm scared of being bald.
So maybe you should do an Ari Aster take and make a film about
Being
someone balding.
bald. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, even my girlie, Mia Goth.
Yeah.
Love my life. Doesn't know I exist, but I love her. She is going to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And people are similarly hating on her
Yeah.
for doing that, but I think it's the idea of the Marvel entrapment thing of like Marvel contractually hire someone for a set amount
Yeah.
of time, and then they're sort of, okay, now you have to make 7 movies in
Yeah.
3 years, and you have no choice. And I'm not such a Marvel fan. I haven't really seen a lot of Marvel movies, but I watched WandaVision and I loved
Mhm.
it. I
Oh,
love
so
Elizabeth
great.
Olsen.
Yeah.
But she was recently speaking about being out of her contract,
Mhm.
at least for now. And she was like, it's great.
Yeah.
She was like, I can make other things now.
Yeah.
I don't have to play the Scarlet Witch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But then, it's not going to be that case every time. And
No.
But yeah, I mean, we can't get into Marvel because that's a whole...
That's an episode of its
yeah,
own.
oof. But Florence Pugh can do what she wants.
Yeah.
And so can Mia Goth.
Yeah.
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 I
agree.
wish that I could do Pearl on the podcast.
Oh, that would have been great.
It would be me wailing in the back of the room for like 25 minutes, and then I'm like, anyway, Pearl is a great movie.
Sold.
Yeah, you still haven't seen it, right?
No.
Ugh, okay.
I have to.
You have to see it.
Yeah.
I think the 3rd one is coming out maybe later this year
Yeah.
because they finished filming quite recently.
Mm-hmm. I saw like a clip from a trailer or something, I think.
Yeah,
But then I lost it and I was like, was it real or I don't know.
I think it might have been fake.
Yeah.
There's not been a
probably.
real trailer. I'm keeping tabs on that movie.
Yeah.
And, yeah. No. But yeah, Halsey is in the movie.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes. Kid Cudi was an ex.
Yeah, he was great in X.
He was
Yeah.
naked,
Yes.
fully naked.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of nudity in Midsommar, also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ari Aster is not afraid of a penis.
No.
No.
He I was gonna say he loves a good penis, but I can't really.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he is married. Maybe.
Yeah. But I don't know. I have a weird thing where I kind of like male nudity in film because it's just so. We have used the female body a lot in film and female nudity, and it's like, let's get some dick in there as well, please.
Yeah, I think I've said on the podcast before, but I think there is nothing scarier than a naked man in the wrong place.
You know what? I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Did you see Men?
I didn't.
There's a bit. So Jessie Buckley is the lead,
Mm-hmm.
and she is an incredible actress, and I love her very much.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit when she is sitting at her desk, and there's a naked man standing in the garden behind her,
Ew.
and it was genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's because it's a naked man, I think, because we're so unused to seeing male nudity, that it's really weird.
Yeah.
But also men are predators.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Also in Hereditary, towards the end of the movie, I think he's like running around the house, and then there's a naked man standing in the door frame.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a disgusting scene.
That's scary.
I hate it. It's so scary.
Yeah. Why is the male naked body so scary?
I don't know. It's I think in film at least it's so unnatural. We don't see it a lot. So then it's like when we see it, they often set it in like a scary scene.
Yeah.
Which probably makes it even more terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's so out of place. It's never in a bedroom. It's
No.
always
No,
like
yeah.
outside in the dark or
Yes.
yeah.
I've watched a movie, Clock.
Haven't seen it yet, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I think I talked about it last week on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a dick in that.
Oh.
Hard dick.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. It got.
No.
Just I'm doing a slicing motion. Just the tip
Oh.
got slightly, and I was like, I've never seen that before.
Interesting.
That's movie magic, baby.
That is movie magic.
On this mid-ass film, that's movie magic.
Kino is back.
Dicks are being sliced and Kino is back.
Yes.
That's how we take down the film bros.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I think I'm good to wrap up.
Yeah.
If you're good to wrap up.
Yeah. Did we talk about the movie?
I think
Really?
so.
Yeah.
At some point.
We mentioned it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's so like I keep coming to this with films on the podcast that are like really well known.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you don't need to talk about it. The Wizard of Oz, I don't need to talk about it. Everyone knows that it's
Yeah.
good, apart from Vinay. But
Yeah. No, it's yeah. Also, if people didn't notice when they watch Midsommar, just look at Christian's glass with the period blood in it and the pubic hair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did not notice that the first time.
No, yeah, she drops. I think I
Yeah.
noticed that when she drops it in. If you're looking for dating tips,
Yeah.
then look for the Hogarth.
Yeah. Just ladies, period blood.
Period blood and
Yeah.
pubes
Yeah.
is the way to get your man.
Yeah.
Cool.
In the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're dissatisfied in your love life, burn your boyfriend alive
Yeah. In a bear suit.
in a bear suit in a yellow house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a bear's skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, ladies, if you are unhappy with your gaslighting boyfriend,
Break up with him.
break up with him.
Don't even break up with him. Just leave.
Yeah.
Never talk to him again.
Yeah. And if he comes after you, then put him in the bear suit and
Yeah.
burn him up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get the choice to pick between a random person or your boyfriend, pick your boyfriend.
Okay, maybe final question.
Yeah.
Who out of the board would you put in a bear skin and burn to death?
Oh my god.
You have to answer.
Oh god. Well, I am one jokey sexist comment away from putting Bendik in a bear suit
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
burning him alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone would say Bendik.
But that is so sad.
Well, he needs to work on his people skills.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. It kind of varies sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, if Vinay doesn't answer in like 3 weeks about something he's
Yeah.
doing, it's like the bear suit for you.
Yeah.
You're sorry.
Yeah. You should put it in the new BFK bylaws.
Yeah.
If you upset me,
Bear suit.
you have 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. In August I've been a part of the film club for 5 years, so I think
Wow.
that is a good way of being like, hey, I've been it for 5 years. Can I just add my own bylaw?
Can I please kill someone?
Yeah,
I've been here for 5
begging
years.
you.
Please, can I kill someone?
Yes.
Okay,
In
cool.
Sweden.
In Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah, because that apparently is the only place that you can be in a cult
Yeah. Yeah.
in Europe is Sweden, according to the movies.
Yeah.
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 Or some weird island in England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you are outside of Scandinavia and wonder, are all Swedes like that? Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have weird names. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Pella, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to everyone named Pella.
No, fuck them.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do what you want. This is your podcast.
Oh,
now. Yeah.
it's my podcast
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being on back, Carolina.
Well, thank you for having me.
This is our second last episode of the
Yeah.
semester, so
Mm-hmm.
nice to close in with some familiar face.
Oh,
With
that's
a familiar
nice.
face. Some familiar face.
Yeah.
But this, I've been Lawrence, the host of the podcast. This has been The Real Thing. Thank you for listening. Catch you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This has been a Bergen Film Club production. Our music is by Wise John. Check them out on Instagram at WISEJohnOfficial. Our logo is by Pia Sofia Brentersen. This episode was produced, mixed and engineered by Joel Lawrence. Our researchers are Inke Shilpkai-Ben and Mamina Nazmajid. Want to talk to us about films? Then please send us an email at podcast@bergenfilmclub.com. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at TheRealThingPod. Check us out on Letterboxd at BFK The Real Thing. Thank you and goodbye. Listen, follow, leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts.